My name is Sarah Johnson, whose name has been changed. I am a simple mother, living with my husband and our little son, Liam, whose name has been changed, in a house in a peaceful suburban area of Chicago, Illinois. Our life is quite busy with work and taking care of Liam, but also very happy. Liam is an energetic, lovable, and very active little boy. He usually likes to play in the living room, where there is a large space and many toys. To easily monitor Liam when I am doing housework in another room, like in the kitchen, or when I need to step out for a moment. We installed a few security cameras in the house. One was placed in the corner of the living room, covering Liam's play area and a part of the kitchen. Our house is a normal house. Nothing special. The neighborhood is also very quiet and safe. We never thought that anything scary could happen here. Liam's world is a world of innocence, of colorful toys, of laughter and discovery. It's a world that I always try to protect from all danger. One afternoon in 2023. A normal afternoon like any other. The weather was nice and sunny. Liam was playing in the living room with colorful building blocks. I was in the kitchen, preparing dinner, but still listening for sounds from the living room. The indoor security camera was still active, recording everything that was happening. I occasionally opened my phone to check the image from the camera, just to make sure Liam was okay. I didn't know that day Liam's world was about to be invaded by something terrifying, and the gaze from the baby camera would show me a horrifying truth. An unbelievable truth. Liam was sitting on the rug in the living room, absorbed in playing with his building blocks. He was talking quietly to his toys, occasionally giggling. My son's voice and laughter echoed in the house, creating a very peaceful and familiar atmosphere. I was standing in the kitchen, not too far from the living room, chopping vegetables to prepare dinner. I could still see a part of the living room from the kitchen, and hear Liam playing. The security camera in the living room was active. I had opened the app on my phone and placed it on the kitchen counter, so I could glance at the screen occasionally. It showed me Liam's entire play area, and a small part of the hallway leading to the kitchen. A moment of everyday peace. A mother cooking, a child playing, a very normal scene in any family. I smiled when I heard Liam giggling. He was having a great time in his world of toys. I continued my work in the kitchen, chopping vegetables, seasoning food. My world in the kitchen was the smell of food, the clinking sound of knives and cutting boards. Liam's world was the sound of toys clashing, the adorable mumbling conversation, and the camera on the kitchen counter silently recorded everything. I didn't have any feeling of unease. Everything was normal. This is my home, the safest place for my family. I didn't know that this moment of everyday peace was about to be broken by a horrifying image, and that baby camera was about to become a witness to something terrifying. Something I will never forget. I was focused on preparing dinner. The clinking sound of knives and cutting boards. The aroma of food filled the kitchen. Liam was still playing in the living room. His giggling was a familiar and pleasant sound. I glanced at my phone screen placed on the kitchen counter. The screen displayed the live image from the camera in the living room. Liam was sitting with his back to the kitchen, absorbed in playing. I quickly looked at the screen, just to check if my son was okay. And then, I saw, behind Liam, in the kitchen area, something. A figure. A blurry figure. Gray or opaque white. It was crawling. It was crawling on the kitchen floor. And the horrifying thing was, it had no legs. I only saw its upper body, crawling or dragging itself on the floor. Its lower body, from the hips down, did not exist. I froze. My heart pounded. The gaze from the phone screen. A spirit missing both legs, crawling right inside my house. And it was behind my son's back. Liam was still sitting there, playing, completely unaware. I was fixated on my phone screen, unable to believe what I was seeing. Was it real, or was the camera glitching? But no, the figure was very clear. Even if blurry, it was moving. It was crawling back and forth in the kitchen area, where I was just standing a little while ago, where I constantly move around. A spirit missing both legs, crawling inside my house, right behind my little son's back. The contrast between Liam's innocence and the horrifying image of that spirit sent shivers down my spine. I felt a sudden cold draft radiating from the phone screen, bone-chilling, piercing my bones. I wanted to scream, wanted to run into the living room, wanted to hug my son, wanted to get him out of that room immediately. But I was in too much shock. I just stood there, staring at the screen, trembling all over. The figure in the background, the gaze from the phone screen had shown me a horrifying truth. Our peaceful house was no longer peaceful. Something evil was in the house. And it was very close to my son. I stood there, staring at my phone screen, where the horrifying scene was displayed. The spirit missing both legs crawling in the kitchen, right behind my little son's back. Fear and panic surged to their peak. My son was in danger. Something evil was very close to him. I suddenly became clear-headed. I couldn't just stand here and watch. I had to act. Immediately, I dropped my phone onto the floor. The sound echoed in the silence. But I didn't care. I turned around, rushed out of the kitchen, and ran towards the living room. As I ran, I still tried to glance at the phone screen lying on the floor. The image from the camera was still displayed. I saw the ghostly figure missing a leg was still there, still crawling, and it was moving closer towards Liam. Liam was still sitting there, playing, completely unaware. My heart was pounding like a drum. Fear made it hard to breathe. I ran into the living room. "Liam!" I shouted, my voice trembling and full of panic. Liam turned his head to look at me, his eyes wide with surprise to see his mother running into the room so quickly. I rushed to Liam, knelt down, and hugged my son tightly. I held him close, as if I wanted to protect him from all evil in this world. I looked around the living room, looking towards the kitchen area. I didn't see anything. No ghostly figure missing a leg. It had disappeared? Or is it still here? Invisible? I hugged Liam tightly, trembling all over. Liam sensed his mother's fear. He looked at me, a little confused. I checked the surroundings thoroughly. Nothing unusual, but I knew what I had seen on the camera was real. In the house of the devil, an evil spirit was lurking, and it had been very close to my son. The race to my son was a race against fear. I made it in time. I hugged Liam, but the fear of the spirit missing both legs in the house could not be chased away. It is still here. I can feel its coldness and its terror. Our peaceful house has become the house of the devil. And I don't know what to do. After hugging Liam tightly and calming him down, and myself, I went back to where I had dropped my phone. My hands were still trembling as I picked it up and reopened the camera app. I reviewed the footage recorded in the past few minutes. And the horrifying scene appeared on the screen again. Clear, undeniable. The image of the woman, missing both legs from the hips down, crawling or dragging herself on the kitchen floor. The figure was blurry, but enough to see the unusual and terrifying appearance. And it was moving right behind Liam, who was sitting and playing. Evidence from the camera. It was real. It wasn't imagination. Fear surged again, this time even stronger as I looked at it more rationally. What should I do now? There is a terrifying spirit inside my house, and it seems to be targeting the area where my son plays. I talked to my husband, telling him everything I had seen on the camera and how I felt. My husband was initially very shocked and worried. He reviewed the footage, and his face also turned pale with fear. We knew this house wasn't safe. But why? What happened here? We started researching the history of the house, asking old neighbors, searching online, in local news archives. The search was difficult because the house had been built quite a while ago. But we were determined to find out the truth. Gradually, we found clues. There were old stories, vague rumors in the area about a serious accident that happened in this house or on this property many years ago. That accident involved a woman. We dug deeper into the information, and the horrifying truth was revealed. About 20 years ago, within the time frame you requested, a terrible accident occurred right in this house. A woman had an accident related to machinery or some incident, and she was severely injured in her legs. She tried to crawl inside the house to find help after the accident, but it was too late. She died from excessive blood loss right on the floor. The accident happened in the area near the kitchen or living room, where I saw her spirit crawling. Where the pain happened, the spirit missing both legs. That is the spirit of the woman who died tragically right in our house, after a horrifying accident that caused her to lose her legs and have to crawl in pain. This horrifying truth explained everything. Why that spirit appeared in the house. Why she was missing legs and crawling. Why she was in the kitchen or living room area. She is bound to the place where she suffered ultimate pain and died. And that place is our house. We lived in extreme fear when we learned this truth. Our peaceful house wasn't just haunted. It was the site of a terrible tragedy. Evidence from the camera and the horrifying truth. Those two things were linked together. Inseparable. We saw the pain of the deceased person with our own eyes, through the camera screen, and learned the reason why she was trapped here. The truth about the tragic death of the woman sent shivers down our spines and filled us with sorrow. The fear of the spirit missing both legs crawling in the house was now even more terrifying as we knew about the tragedy that had befallen her. We knew that her spirit was bound to the place where she died, to the floor where she crawled in the last moments of her life. That's why she appeared in the kitchen and living room area. The unforgettable haunting, no matter what we tried to do. The truth about her death. The terrifying image of the spirit missing both legs crawling. Always remained in our minds. Every night, we lived in anxiety. We frequently checked the camera, even though we dreaded it. And sometimes, at that exact hour, we still heard the rolling sound on the wooden porch, and saw the blurry figure of the woman missing a leg crawling on the camera screen. It was no longer the extreme fear of the first time. Instead, it was sadness, haunting, and a feeling of helplessness. The spirit beneath the floor. It is the horrifying truth that we have to face every day. Our peaceful house has become the dwelling place of a suffering spirit. And the evidence from the camera is undeniable confirmation. We don't know if her spirit will ever find peace. We only know that we have to live with this haunting. The haunting from the old tragedy. The pain of the deceased. And the fear of the living. The unforgettable horror. Our story is a warning. Be careful about where you live. You never know what tragedy has happened there. And what spirit is still trapped, trying to relive their pain. If you enjoyed these true horror stories, or stories based on accounts and unexplained mysteries, like this, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the channel to follow our latest videos. We will bring you more terrifying and haunting stories. Thank you for listening.